we do want to get back to Vivian Schiller. She is the executive director of Aspen Digital, and I hope you can hear me and I can hear you. I believe, Vivian, good for you to be with us.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. I'm assuming you can hear me now.
We can. And so just to get back to that question, right, in terms of Grok and this bot and those anti-Semitic tropes, how do you think that came to be?
Oh, well, we know how it came to be because Elon Musk has told us precisely. Elon Musk has been tweaking the instructions to the Grok bot about how it should be replying. And if you've been following the story over the last number of months, first there was an issue that no matter what the question was the answer was about the alleged murder of white farmers in South Africa. He realized that was a problem. He had his engineers tweak it again. Then it started actually giving reasonable answers pulled from the data that it was trained on, including sort of legitimate news sources, but that was deemed to be too woke. And so he tweaked it again. He signaled this over the weekend that he's had thought that Grok was too woke. He tweaked it again, and now the last few days have just been an abomination of, it's just been a horror show, the kinds of horrible things that Grok has been parroting. Just really racist, inflammatory, terrible things. So now they say they're going to fix it again. But this is in control. This is the engineers can control this. And they are.
And so I want to get to that point because AI in general is supposed to be a learning model, right? So it's almost as if you're telling us that, an AI bot is only as good as the data that's inputted. But isn't it supposed to be doing a wider search? And we are told that, in fact, it can actually think for itself. So what happened here? Do you really believe it was wholly and totally the manipulation of Elon Musk here? Because it hasn't done his company any good, even if he wanted that to be the outcome.
No, I would say it very much is not doing his company any good. Look, I think there's a sort of a micro and a macro point here. The micro point is, first of all, AI systems do not think for themselves. They do not think. They have predictive responses based on all of the data that they have ingested, and also the instructions that they are given by engineers about how to reply to questions. So that's how this came to be. A lot of other more responsible AI models do pull from a broad variety of data, basically everything, every piece of digital information and data point that's on the internet. Although, and even there, you get certainly a lot of mistakes and hallucinations and problems, but there are certainly better AI models out there. But the macro point here is this is terrifying. I mean, yes, Elon Musk presumably is going to fix this, but there's a larger point about how these AI models can be manipulated. And they can be manipulated in such a way that they can spew information that can actually influence people all over the world. So it's a very concerning, complicated set of developments.
When you say it's concerning, though, and complicated, we have been dealing even on social media with moderation that is an abject failure, really, in many times when you see anything that is racist, anti-Semitic, or even things like child pornography that still show up. What is the solution here when AI continues to gallop forward? I heard you on a talk 2 years ago talking about kind of some of the dangers and the pitfalls writ large for AI. We are 2 years later when you were speaking of that, and none the wiser.
None the wiser, because AI we may be wise to it, but we're not onto a solution yet, the royal we here. The AI advances have been just astronomical and faster than I think even the AI leads have expected. So it's just very hard for policy, both sort of small p policy, how companies are managing it, and big P policy, how governments are thinking about regulating it, to keep up. So there is a solution though about content moderation. I mean, I don't mean there's a perfect light switch that if you flip it, everything is fixed. But for instance, at Twitter, prior to Elon Musk's acquisition of the platform, and this is well post when I was there were very good content moderation policies in place. They were not perfect, but they were pretty good. Elon Musk ripped those out, and Linda Yaccarino is now taking credit for fixing content moderation, but it's not true.
Yeah, Vivian, we only have like 30 seconds left, but I mean, even Meta is not moderating the way it used to, right? Not even using the
No, they're
tools
not.
why?
That's right. Because the political winds have shifted. And the political winds now are such that, based on a lot of sort of rhetoric that's been shouted over the last couple of years, these platforms have decided that the liability for them to not be attacked for moderating content or suppressing free speech, which of course is not the case. It's just not worth it for them politically to run up against the administration.
Yeah, and I point out that might be the political situation here in the United States and the law here in the United States. That is not true, though, of the other jurisdictions. And as you rightly point out, we will see what those other jurisdictions do about this. Vivian Schiller, always good to have you. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.